And welcome to God's Hookups television show. This is Dr. Barbara Young, your host, and this is a show that features up close and personal interviews with guests from all walks of life who share their stories about unexplainable blessings, successful events, and extraordinary miracles and encounters that can only be of God's hookup. You'll receive hope, enlightenment, encouragement that will feed your spirit and your soul. Now, to my guest today. Miss Christy Jones. Welcome to God's Hookups. I am so happy to have you in the house, let me tell you. So for my viewers out there, Miss Christy Jones is a holistic health and mindfulness coach and educator. So she's here today to share her God's Hookup story when her middle daughter was suffering from a major digestive issue and how she found her purpose through that girl's illness, and today is serving her purpose in helping others maintain their health holistically and spiritually. So it is my honor to have Christy Jones, who I've grown to love, and now is my new best friend.
Hey. Yay! Thank you for inviting me on, Dr. Barbara. So fun to join you.
So, Christy, it must have been a traumatic time for you to have a child who's ill. So take us back to that time and what happened.
Yeah. And so, that was about 12 years ago. And I will tell you, my middle daughter has always been this vibrant, like when in our family, when she was happy, everybody was happy. And if she wasn't happy, then that affected everybody else as well. And so what happened was she started having major digestive issues. Anytime she ate, she would curl over in pain, and really spent about 3 months in bed. Eating was just really painful for her. And I took her to a gastrointestinal specialist. And at that point in time, they wanted to scope her and see if it was an ulcer. And they wanted to put her on antidepressants at 11 years old. And that there was no indication of that being the cause. And so at that point, I really needed to take matters into my own hands. And you know how you're always led to the people that you're meant to know. A woman that owned the local pet shop said, hey, you've got to go see this woman who does a live blood analysis, and she will be able to help you with your daughter. And I don't know if you've ever heard, Dr. Barbara, of a live blood analysis before. But no. Basically, they can take a drop of blood and tell you the history of what's been going on in your body.
Nope.
And so it's pretty cool. And so, it's the pet shop person, right? It was actually a dear friend of mine and just, really helped me help my daughter. And that doesn't happen by accident. No. We know there's a bigger plan and a bigger hand in that.
Yeah.
And so what happened is I took her to this woman and she said, it does look like an ulcer, but if you change how she eats, you're really going to be able to help her. And so she put the ball in my court, where with the doctors, I felt so helpless. I didn't know what to do. They weren't even concerned. They were like, she's only been in pain for 3 months. Not a big deal. I'm like, what? Right? Like this is not okay. Having your child in pain is not okay.
Kristen, how old was she at the time?
11.
11. Oh my God. And they think a child in pain for 3 months is.
Yeah. Yeah. They weren't concerned. And so, that might've just been that doctor, but this was a child specialist. And it's like, where do you go when the child specialist for digestive health really isn't giving you answers and only giving you medication? And so, with this woman, she said, if you change her diet, you will actually really help her body heal. And so it's like, when you get the tools, then I had something I could do. I didn't feel helpless anymore. And so we did. She said, you need to get rid of wheat, dairy, corn, sugar, meat. I took everything out of the house in one day. I hired a woman to teach me how to cook, and she came in and we stocked my refrigerator. We just made sure she had this nutrition food that was very anti-inflammatory. We had to get inflammation out of her body and start healing her gut. And so really that was the beginning. It was amazing to see. And she was like, game on, I'll do it. I'll do whatever I have to do. So I really acknowledge her for being willing to make those changes.
Yes.
That's not always easy because there's a lot of fun things to eat that were not on that list.
That's right. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was over those next few months, it was really amazing to see how her body changed by eating in this way, at that point in time, I didn't understand the impact of stress. So there's much I've learned. My main focus was food at that point in time, and it made a huge difference. But I always say she's been my best teacher, because then she allowed me to grow from there. I went, if this is what my kid's experiencing. And we actually ate pretty healthy. It's not like we were eating fast food and stuff like that. We really were eating pretty healthy already. But I was like, what's going on with other kids? And so that's where I started actually taking my focus outside of and realizing how many children are chronically ill. And so it just opened this door for me to start looking at the bigger picture. And I started getting very involved in our schools of how can we start promoting health in our schools, changing some of these class parties where they're giving these kids a sugar and junk, which might be fun to eat, but is that really helping them?
Right.
And so it's led into, having a personal practice. And then I do a lot of work in schools in educating, teaching kids how to love eating fresh foods, love eating vegetables, reading food labels, understanding mindfulness techniques so they can relax their own bodies. And that's so key in health.
So you actually, from your daughter's diagnosis, and then you found help, this led you to begin. I mean, did the idea come sort of suddenly, or the idea sort of begin to manifest that I need to learn more and I want to be able to help people do this? I mean, do you see that connected as a God's hookup? I mean, because out of that came a business for you. But
Yeah.
not only that, but something. Had you ever thought that you would even be in this profession?
I mean, I did not, although I'll tell you, always from a young kid, I always wanted to help people.
Yes.
Always, like I remember there's like an older lady that lived on my street that'd be outside. She was probably, in her 90s. Right. And I would always go and like take her flowers or do things for her. I mean, I was just always looking for ways to help people as a kid. And I really wanted to be a school principal and work with kids. And, I got married young and was a stay-at-home mom. And so I didn't really have a career path in mind. I was a stay-at-home mom. Okay. And this just kind of opened the door because that passion had always been there for kids. Yeah.
It's really something when we think about how God works, and here like we talked about, it's not religion, it's about relationship. And
yes.
Had any encounters where you could feel that he was present in your life, even when you were younger, but you didn't recognize that was him?
Yeah, I would say I was really clueless when I was younger. I mean, if I took this conversation now and started looking back, I could probably really start thinking about some times that way. But I would say when I was younger, I don't think I had that awareness of really being led or God's hand in my life. I think, my sister passed away when I was young, and that put a lot of trauma into our family. So I grew up with a lot of, trauma mindset, feeling stuck in as a victim and life was happening to me versus for me. So I've had a lot of shifting, and I know that that's been part of my growth and part of his guidance.
And the thing is that you have such a laughter and you bring such joy. When I first met you, and you brought such joy and light in the room, and I said, wow, this person I've got to get to know. So to find out that all of these experiences that you had, really, you weren't really aware until something happened in your own family.
Yes.
That, and it's really interesting how God works. He works in so many different ways, and we can't even begin to try to fathom or try to figure him out.
Right.
But he's
not figuring that out. Just listen. Right?
So how is your daughter today?
Well, now she's 22 and she just graduated from college, and she's working on, so she moved home right now just because of this interesting time that we're in, which has been nice. And really, she's a writer, and she knows that she's here to share and have her voice be heard. And And so that's beautiful. And, as a parent, when you have a child that you're working with once you got into high school, I had to step back. Right. And let her make her own decisions. And I mean, that's what we do as parents, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did she start going back to eating some of the foods that you knew weren't right for her?
Yeah. And so once again, we just get to love.
It wasn't easy, Christy, for you to sort of step back and not getting your, what are you eating?
Right. We have to realize that our children are adults. And they'll probably say, you can still do a better job on that, Mom.
Well,
what's really opened up the door is being able to work with, in schools, which is really one of my passions, is being able to bring this work into schools and to help teachers, to help parents, and to help students. That's really what it's opened the door to.
And I think that's wonderful, and it's really interesting how you start practicing with your own daughter, and now she's 22.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I wanted to, ask, has she written a journal or written something about her experiences going through this?
No. Yeah, her writing, she's much more into poetry.
Okay.
And so, yeah. She expresses her voice in a very different way of that versus, that journey.
Yeah. Be interesting for her to write some prose or poetry about that journey. Wouldn't that be interesting to see? Yeah. Well, we never know how God leads, because you started a legacy in the family. Mm-hmm. And now, how about your other children in the family? Are they eating right and following Mom's, direction?
I will say no. It's so fun. I always say I work with so many young people, but, as a parent, I have to step back and let my children do what's right for them. And we grew up, part of it is for such a time, we grew up with so much, I gave them a lot of tools and probably a little bit demanding. Then at one point, my oldest daughter said, you know what, you've given me a foundation. Now it's time for me to make my own choices. And It was just really important that I respect that.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
We chatted a little bit about this in the green room. And I talked about how my philosophy is everyone has to take 100% responsibility for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it for somebody else. They have to realize that they have to be responsible. 100% responsibility for your life. Not 99%, but 100%. And so one of the things that I know is when you begin to take that responsibility for your life, and I don't mean to be preaching, but listeners, I will.
Mm-hmm.
You put your hand in the hand of God, and you will be able to be that 100%, because you've got a guide. You have someone who's helping you, someone that that loves you. And so I really want to, especially thank you, because you have helped so many people. And now explain to me, when you talk, you're a holistic coach, but when you talk about mindfulness, that to me is another portion. Holistic health, we're talking about the foods you need to eat, the stresses, and you taught me how to pat my abdomen. So listeners out there, viewers out there, tell them about Girl, I've been patting a lot. Releasing the toxins and the energy in your body. Mm-hmm. But I want to just do a little bit about the patting. Share that a little bit. We got to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, really what after going through this experience, I realized if I was going to help anybody, I really need to help people understand the brain-gut connection and how important our digestive system is. And 12 years ago, there was almost no information about the brain-gut connection. I just knew when my daughter's head hurt, her stomach hurt. When her stomach hurt, her head hurt. I'm like, there's a connection, right? And now you hear about it all the time, but it just wasn't out there 12 years ago. And so our intestines are actually very much, our gut's our second brain. So our intestines are our second brain. And we make 80% of our immune system in our intestines. We make 50% of our dopamine, which is our motivation, our drive. And we make 90% of our serotonin, our feel-good chemical, in our intestines.
Whoa.
And so our health is in our gut. And for our gut to be, so the healthy bacteria, so we're familiar with our microbiome, all those thousands, millions of bacteria that we need, healthy bacteria in our intestines for our body to be healthy. And so they like warm. They thrive in warm. And we need our abdomen to be relaxed so that we can eliminate properly. It always goes to poop. I hate to say it, but it always goes to poop. But so when you're tapping your abdomen, plus here's something most people don't know, and I actually didn't realize this until recently, 50% of your lymphatic system is in your intestines. Your lymph is your immunity, right? And so when you're tapping your abdomen, you're literally just taking flat hands and tapping your abdomen. You are starting to bring warmth to your intestines. You're starting to relax your intestines. You're increasing the temperature. And what they have found, there's been scientific studies done that when you can raise your core body temperature 1.8 degrees, you boost your immune system 500%.
I really want to thank you for that because, I didn't know, and I started patting when we started our conversations, and I've been patting, and I'm telling you, I got a few other people who are patting their abdomens.
Oh, awesome.
I was patting the chest. I'm patting now. I was patting everything.
Right.
Actually, it feels very good.
Doesn't it?
It's very reviving. And
yes.
For those of us who are sitting at computers all day, and we need to move, you said move at least an hour, get up, walk around.
Yes, every hour, get up 1 or 2 minutes and move your body.
Move your body. Because I know that now that we're in this digital world and we're getting more and more, because people are at their desk, they're at a computer. And so we are going to be changing the way we do things, the way we treat our bodies. So I really wanted to get into that since you're the holistic coach. And God put you in this through your own challenge with your daughter.
Right.
Now, did you have to go back to get educated? Because you went back and got all this education and got all this knowledge. So that sparked meant that you had a passion to learn it, to want to, grow and learn more about it. So that's what I'm excited about, how God works in his little sneaky ways.
Right. Yes. And so definitely, I went back and became certified in as a holistic health coach. But so much of what I teach is more life experience.
Yes.
Right. You can only learn so much in a book. You got to learn it, through life. And I mean, life gives us those opportunities to learn.
Give us those
but everything's been guided. It's like a door opens and a door opens. And you know how this works. You've experienced this in every aspect of your life. You're just led, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, this is, and a door just opens. And that's really what happened with this mindfulness piece. I was introduced to this yoga studio called Body and Brain Yoga. And I started going there. And the man that ran the center, he said, you're so busy trying to grow your business and work in the schools. And he said, you need to just come here and do these classes and relax. And I thought, this man doesn't know what he's talking about. He's like, turn off your phone and you'll grow your business. Just come here and relax.
Yeah.
I thought, well, what do I have to lose but to listen to this man? And so I started doing these classes and I felt so good, so revitalized. And part of it was this tapping that he was teaching me, right? This whole body tapping. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. And I would say, in the past, I'm a type A, work till you drop, put everyone else first, until you make yourself sick. And I thought, oh my gosh, if I can slow down and I can feel good, teachers need this.
They do.
I see how hard they work.
I think if they just started patting the abdomen.
so that's what I teach them to do.
Well, I just love the Lord and how he navigates each one of us in different paths, and all of those paths lead to helping somebody else.
Yes.
And I just want to thank you, Christy, for the work that you're doing, and your laughter is infectious. This woman, she laughs. And it makes me feel good to know that we need laughter right now.
We did right now more than ever. We need that laughter because laughter, once again, that raises that vibration in your body. And we're vibrational beings. We're energy.
Yes, we are.
Right?
We are energy.
And we're a physical body, but we really are energy.
We are, Christy. And it has just been such a pleasure, again, to have you on the show today, to share with people how God hooked you up, but in a very unique way. I think, you know what? He's a little sneaky sometimes.
Yeah.
Pulls you right on in there, and you're growing every day, and you're growing spiritually, and that's the most important thing about it. So I love you very much. And you've helped
me too.
I've been doing the padding. You just can't believe how much padding I've been doing. I mean,
Yeah, and you're really boosting your immune system and increasing that energy flow, that blood flow, that oxygen flow in your body. You know,
Yep.
our bodies are amazing and are designed to heal.
Yep.
We just got to give them the tools to help it, right? And
Yep.
really nourish our, I mean, we need to nourish our soul, but we need to nourish our body too,
Yep.
so it knows that it's valuable, right? And loved.
So you know what? I'm going to put you on solo and have you do a last minute word that you want to say to the viewers out there and some of your friends who may be listening to you, and particularly some of our friends in the mastermind. So what would you like to say, Christy? This is your time to shine.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, thank you for this moment. And I'll just say hello. And I'm just going to send you all love. What I'd like to just leave you as a thought with today is to remember to focus on your feeling. Our feelings are creating our reality. So what feeling do you want to focus on today? And, you know, Dr. Barbara, I haven't shared this with you yet, but I always work with that. We have 4 spiritual layers. It starts with a feeling in our heart, and that feeling flows through our heart and goes through our body into our aura, and it becomes a vibration. You can walk in a room and feel somebody's vibration. So being mindful of today on this beautiful Friday, what is the feeling that you want to grow? Knowing that who we are is love, who each of us are is love, whole and complete, knowing that and feeling it in your body, allowing it to flow through your body into your vibration. As you do that, it goes out to the ether and it connects with everybody, right? It becomes a frequency. And right now, more than ever, we need to raise love. We need to raise kindness. And it starts with that feeling in our heart. So let's do that together, everybody, today. Let's raise that vibration of love in our heart and let it flow out into our aura, into our vibration, and to reach everybody as a frequency. So let's do that together.
Thank you so much. And I want to say hi to Laverne. Thank you so much, Lavon. Thank you very much. And hello to you out there. Thank you for listening to the show today, viewing the show today. And again, this has been my pleasure to have my guest on today. And so what I want to leave you with today, Dr. B's little last minute word to all of you. Get out and vote. It's time. And 2, also, this is Breast Awareness Month. So be aware, and I wanted to, for all the women out there, because really it is a serious disease, and be sure to take care of those puppies, those girls, we call them. But anyway, be aware. And for those of you, again, please get out and vote. This is your time to speak and have a voice. Don't let anybody else have it for you. This is Dr. Barbara Young. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. So we're going to say goodbye to my guest today. And I want to thank you so much, guys, for watching. This has really been just a beautiful day. And to have my guest, Miss Christy Jones. Thank you so much, Christy.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a blast. I keep laughing and tapping.
As we go off the show.